Hey everybody, the Book Dad here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the first annual Book Dad birthday book haul. Yeah, all right. Yeah, I'm going to do a book haul video. Um, Now, I haven't done one of these before. Obviously, my channel's brand new and I'm not going to do a lot of these over the course of my channel's life. There aren't that many times when I get just huge amounts of books. Pretty much just my birthday and Christmas. So you can probably expect maybe 2 book haul videos per year. It's not something I'm going to do a ton of, but I wanted to do it this time because I got a really good birthday with, as you can see, a whole table full of new books that I'm very excited about starting. And so I wanted to share that with all of you. Thank you all for showing up. I appreciate all of you that come and subscribe and watch the videos. If any of you are here that haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. We have a lot of fun here at the Book Dad, and I like to do lots of reviews and talk about all the different books that I'm reading. And today we're going to have a whole stack, a double stack of books to talk about and that I'll be reading in the future and being reviewing for all of you. So in the piles that you can see here, some of these are books that I purchased with money that I got for my birthday, and some of them were presents from the book wife. And I'll show you which is which here in a second. First off, we've got a new Vince Flynn novel, Order to Kill. Now this is, I think, the second book in the Mitch Rapp series that was written by Kyle Mills after the untimely passing of Vince Flynn. I haven't gotten into the Kyle Mills written Mitch Rapp books yet. The last Mitch Rapp novel that I read was the final one that Vince Flynn wrote, and so I'm still haven't started the next phase to see how those have gone. But I have most of them in my collection, and so this was a gap that I had, and this was a present that I got, and so I'm excited to check this out when I get to it. All right, next we've got Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. Now, this book, I've seen a lot of it on booktube and people seem to really love it. Now, I've read The Martian. I read that about 2 or 3 years ago, and I really liked it. I thought it was great, and what I really liked about Andy Weir's writing with The Martian was how so many problems happened to that guy on Mars. It was just one huge disaster after another, and he had to figure out, like a puzzle, putting together a puzzle, how to fix and get past each little problem and issue that happened all the way to the end of the book. And so it was like a big puzzle and very interesting to see how is he going to get out of this thing that just happened. So I really liked it, and I haven't read any of his other books, but Project Hail Mary is going to be the next one of Andy Weir's that I read, and I'm looking forward to it. I know that there's a movie coming out soon. I still haven't seen the movie for The Martian, so I don't know if that one was good or not. People seem to like it, but I know there's a new movie coming out for Project Hail Mary, so I wanted to read this before that kind of comes out and maybe spoils stuff when all of that news for that new movie comes out. So Project Hail Mary, another good book I'm excited about. All right. Now, this book, this I am really excited for. This is Children of Time by Adrian Tchaikovsky. I have heard so much about this on booktube. It sounds so cool. This is a science fiction book, and as you can see here on the cover, winner of the Arthur C. Clarke Award. So, Book of the Year for science fiction back when it was written. Now this has been out for a while. This is actually a trilogy. This is the first book of the trilogy, and I think the concept. Now I don't want to get spoiled, so I've tried not to read or look at a ton about this book because it just sounds so interesting. I don't want to spoil it at all, but I know the general premise of it, sort of a clash of civilizations in a very unexpected way, and it just sounds fascinating to me. I'm really interested in getting into this and seeing what Tchaikovsky does with this brand of science fiction. So if any of you have started this series, let me know what you think if you really like it. I'm excited to start it, and I also know that he has written some fantasy books too. So he writes fantasy and science fiction. So if I really like this, maybe I'll check out some of his fantasy books. Let me know if any of you have read some of those. So anyways, Children of Time, going to be a great read. All right, now you can see what this next one is here. Red Rising. Everybody on BookTube knows about Pierce Brown and the Red Rising series, right? This is so hugely popular. And I haven't read it yet. I haven't started it. So I thought, what the heck, since it's my birthday and I'm getting a bunch of books, this has been on my list for a while, and I've been interested to see what the series is all about, what all the hype is all about. I think that the idea is pretty cool. It's about people, or I guess society that lives on Mars, and that there are some stratification and different layers or castes in society. And I guess Reds maybe are at the bottom and they're rising up or something along those lines. Again, I've never read it. I've heard about it a lot, but I always try not to spoil too much of these books so that I can go in fresh and get the true reader's experience. But let me know, those of you that enjoy the Red Rising series. I know this is the first book out of what will eventually be a 7-book series. 6 of them are out, and I know that the 7th book is scheduled to be out soon. So yeah, Red Rising, another entry in the science fiction category of this book haul. Now, I don't know, maybe I've swung over to the science fiction side here for a while. For some reason, that seems to be calling my name lately. But anyways, excited to read Red Rising, and let me know what you all think of that series. Okay, now here we go. Something that is neither science fiction nor fantasy, but reality. The Killer Angels by Michael Shara. Now, this is a historical book about the Civil War, and specifically the Battle of Gettysburg, probably the most well-known famous battle of that entire war. But I heard about this book from another BookTube channel, Red Fury Books. He recommended this one as being one of the greatest books that he had read, and whenever that was. And so it really piqued my interest because it sounded really interesting. And I do like war books, historical war books. I myself was in the Army for 12 years, and so I do have a certain interest and soft spot for historical novels about past wars, to see how those battles were fought, how those soldiers lived, and in comparison to my experiences in the Middle East. So I'm really interested to check this out. It is it was a winner of the Pulitzer Prize, so it has certainly been honored as an excellent book. And so I will be excited to delve into this. And it's been around for a long time. This is listed as the 50th anniversary edition. And I'd never heard of it, like I said, until I saw it on Red Fury Books. And so I'm pretty interested to see how this talks about the Civil War. Another thing that really interests me in reading historical novels or historical fiction from time to time is to get the sense of what life was like back then in a totally different era. I know a lot of these books that I'm buying and that were gifted to me for my birthday here in this book haul are science fiction books. And when I look at historical books about certain historical periods of time, it's almost like a science fiction book because you're going into the past in a totally different era where the culture is different from today. The people are different. Even the language sometimes is different. And it's so interesting to get into that and see how things used to be in the United States of America, where I live, right? And what society was like back then, what men and women were like, what were the things that they valued. And the culture that they had. So this is going to be something very interesting to me to read about the Civil War, because I really haven't read a whole lot about the Civil War in my life. I've read a ton of World War II books. I've read some Vietnam books. I've read some more recent books on things like the incident in Somalia with Black Hawk Down, or the War on Terror books that have been written, some of them. But when it comes to Civil War, I really haven't read that much about it. And so this is going to be interesting to me. So looking forward to the Killer Angels. All right. Now, this is the booktube darling of the last like 3 or 4 years, right? I'm finally getting around to it. Dungeon Crawler Carl. And this is actually something obviously I've known about for a while. Everybody on booktube has been talking about it. But I was keyed into this because just in the last couple of weeks, Book Brother talked to me about, he started reading this series and really loved it. And so I thought, okay, well, I've heard about it. I know about it. Obviously, being a booktube watcher myself, I've heard everybody talk about this, and I have never gotten around to it myself. So I figured now is a good time. Why not? So, as I'm sure most of you know, this is written by Matt Dinniman and is a lit RPG novel. So this, I guess, takes some of the mechanics that you would use playing a role-playing game like Dungeons and Dragons and incorporates them into the text of the novel, so that you're, I guess, leveling up, maybe acquiring new items, things like that. I've never actually played Dungeons and Dragons, but I have listened to a podcast of people that are playing it, so I am familiar with the structure of that. I've just never been into that myself, but I do sort of like the idea of it. It's interesting to listen to, and so I figured this would be, probably the best place to start, since it seems to be the most popular one right now. And so, yeah, Dungeon Crawler Carl, and I noticed it says, it's interesting. You will not break me. I don't know what that means, but I guess I'll find out here in a little bit. But kind of cool. So, anyways, yeah, Dungeon Crawler Carl, and this is another, I can't remember what it is now, 7-book series, I think. So certainly a lot of more books to purchase in this one if I end up liking it and moving on to the rest of the books in the series. So another booktube darling to read and talk about. All right, now, perhaps the most controversial book today in this book haul. A book this thick, it could only be one thing, right? Branderson, Wind and Truth, Book 5 of the Stormlight Archive. So, yep, I finally got it. This was gifted to me by Book Mom. And I, right now, in my Stormlight Archive reading, have made it through Oathbringer, Book 3. So I still have to get through Dawn Shard, Rhythm of War, and then can get to this. But I actually still have a few other Cosmere books to read in preparation for Wind and Truth. So I need to finish the 4th book in Mistborn Era 2, and then read Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, and then Sunlit Man, and then get to Wind and Truth. So I've got a little bit of reading to do before I can get to this, just so I can have things in the right Cosmere order and not spoil things here between different books. But yeah, Wind and Truth, a little bit controversial, right? It doesn't seem like a lot of people liked it that much. They claim that it's different than the rest of the Stormlight books. I think there was a little bit of that with Rhythm of War as well. But like I said, I've only been through Oathbringer, and the first 3 books of the Stormlight Archive are all massive home runs. Like, they are all awesome. I love them. And so I'm a little surprised that maybe things have dropped off a little bit. But hey, until I find out for myself, I will always believe in Branderson, because he has never let me down yet. No matter what I've read of his, it has always been awesome. So looking forward to Wind and Truth. It's got a lot of cool artwork on the inside. Got the map of Roshar on the inside of the dust cover. That's kind of sweet. So yeah. Some more stuff back here. But yeah, I'm really excited for this. And then too, at some point here, I'm also getting the new Isles of the Emberdark novel, The Secret Project, but I haven't been notified that it's on its way. But I've seen some people start to review it on BookTube, so I know they're starting to get shipped out. So I'm waiting, Dragonsteel. Let's go. Actually, that's okay. You can take your time because I still have a ton of books to get through before I can read that one, because that'll be the final book of the Cosmere for me when I get to that one. Until he comes out with the next stuff. But so yeah, Wind and Truth, another gigantic 1,300 plus page book for my bookshelf. I don't know if my standard shelf can handle this one. Right now it's full, so I'm going to have to either come and commandeer another shelf for Branderson, or get another. Frankly, with all of these books, I'm going to need a new bookshelf, period, because we are out of space right now. And I guess this is the curse and the blessing of all book lovers that want to basically create their own personal home library. We just don't have the space. So I think it is actually time for us to get a new bookshelf. So maybe that'll happen sometime here soon, but we'll see. So yeah, Brandon Sanderson, love him. The best. Okay, now we've made it to the second stack of the book haul, and this is going to be a mass reveal of an entire series that Bookwife got me for my birthday, because she's seen that I've been reading these lately. I didn't expect this, but hey, she's awesome and she is on the ball, and so she knew what to get me for my birthday, and here it is, the entire Dark Tower series in this edition that has the awesome spines and the awesome covers that I love. I think this is the coolest version of the Dark Tower books. And so, yeah, from the Gunslinger all the way down to the Dark Tower, she got me this series, and I am really excited to keep reading it. My last video was on book 1, The Gunslinger. Awesome book, awesome video, check it out. And so next I'll be doing a video on the Drawing of the Three. I have read through the first 3 books, and so far they are very awesome. Now I'm about to start Wizard and Glass, and then from there on we'll continue on for the rest of these books. Now I think I'll probably save this series, or this collection also includes The Wind Through the Keyhole, which I'll probably save till the end. I think seems to be mostly consensus that not to read that one in between 4 and 5, but just to set it aside and then read it after you finish the rest of them, so that you're basically reading it in chronological order from when they were written. But so that's probably what I'll do. So yeah, the Dark Tower series, got this now, and this is pretty cool. I mean, these are the first Stephen King books that I own other than Fairy Tale, which I have there, and I have a really old copy of The Eyes of the Dragon, an old crummy paperback version of that. But so these are going to be awesome on my shelf somewhere. Again, we'll have to find space, but and they also came in this super cool carrying set, or this box. So yeah, really awesome. And I don't know who this character is yet. We haven't come across him, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that at some point in the series. But yeah, Dark Tower, it's a really good series. So if you haven't read it yet, check out my videos on the Dark Tower reviews that I'm going through, and I'll keep doing that as I get through the rest of the series. But hey, thanks everybody for coming along for this book haul. It's been a great birthday. I love getting new books, and hey, we'll see you around Christmas time for the next one. But until then, keep reading to your kids every night. All right, see ya.